If your horse has recently gone off of their feed, I want to give you a few things to troubleshoot to try to see if you can help them get onto feed faster. Horses are designed to graze or eat up to 18 to 20 hours a day. So horses not eating is obviously a cause for concern. There's usually something wrong with why they are not eating. So here's a few things to troubleshoot if your horse has recently gone off a feed. The first thing to think about and pay attention to are any NSAIDs or antibiotics or anything that you might be giving your horses as far as medication or anything like that can cause gastric upset in the horse. So one way to get around this is you can oftentimes give a large dose of pre or probiotics, especially probiotics, and give that to your horse and hopefully get that digestive system back in order. So a lot of times they just have a lot of gastric upset, which makes them not want to eat. So you might find them not going to their grain at all and maybe just kind of slowly grazing throughout the day. This could be gastric upset. So that would be the first thing to pay attention to if you are giving them any sorts of medication. Number two could be their teeth. If you have maybe a barn full of horses and one horse went off of their feed, maybe check that horse's teeth. Maybe they have a tooth that has gone dead or have a cavity in it that needs to be pulled. Maybe they have some horses, some teeth that need to be filed down. Maybe it's causing them pain in their mouth when they go to grind their feed, and you would also oftentimes see a lot of feed dropped on the ground if that's the case. So pay attention to your horse's teeth. A third thing that if you maybe have a whole barn go off of feed or maybe a section of your barn go off of its feed is to think about its environment. So environment can be a lot of different things. Maybe you had two raccoons fighting in the aisleway last night. Maybe it was something is bothering them around their feed bin. Maybe there's sharp metal around their feed trough or something like that is cutting them. Something like that. Maybe it's some sort of environmental thing. Or perhaps it's an environment such as you exercise this horse a lot. Maybe they have a lot of soreness. Maybe they have a lot of muscle issues going on and they're sore or something like that. Maybe it is their environment or something going on in the barn that has caused a section of the barn to go off of their feed or be distracted from eating. So those are some things if one horse or maybe a section of horses has gone off the feed. Certainly there's times where your whole barn has gone off the feed. If the whole barn is on the same type of feed, there are a few things to pay attention to. If you're on a textured feed or a feed with a lot of molasses, a lot of companies in the spring and fall will switch from a summer molasses to a winter molasses and adjust those ratios on their molasses. So if it is spring or fall and your whole barn has gone off feed and you feed a molasses feed that has molasses on it, pay attention to that. It could be that they just changed up the molasses and your horses are not used to that and they have balked at the feed that you've given them. No issues there. You might just keep introducing that feed and they will switch to it eventually. Another thing that could be is perhaps your feed store, hopefully not, but perhaps your feed store or the mill has too much moisture in the pellet or the feed. And that moisture content, the high moisture content of the pellet, if it is not dried properly, can become rancid and start molding. So maybe you haven't noticed the mold yet, or maybe you haven't noticed that the feed has gone rancid yet, but horses have a much higher palatability and also nose than humans do. So maybe they've noticed it and you haven't. So if that is the case, check the date codes, check maybe the company has switched from a summer molasses to a winter molasses or something like that. And it could be the issue of the feed.